the high school football preview show presented by our major sponsor, All Valley Mini Storage. Please visit them at www.lcvstorage.com. This week we have all three area high schools playing, with Lewiston jumping into their state playoffs and having Asotin wrap up their regular season versus Northwest Christian, along with Clarkston wrapping up their regular season at North Central. The Asotin game will be played on Saturday this week, beginning at 2 p.m. Lewiston will be taking on Lakeland at 7 p.m. at Lewiston High School, and Clarkston will be at North Central, beginning at 5 p.m. Our first guest this week is Asotin High School's head coach, Jim Holman. Jim, how you doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, all right. Well, nice win last week versus Lind-Ritzville. Want to take us through that one and just kind of recap it?
Yeah, we did what we had to do. We're clearly the better team and took care of business and got it out of hand pretty early, and then we're able to kind of rest some guys and get some younger guys some time, so it worked out well.
Yeah, looks like 35-0 was the score in that one, and that puts Asotin kind of in the, on the right track for getting the 3 seed out of the league there. With the game against Northwest Christian always being a big one, but now kind of the fight for third this year could be a big kind of swing in how things shape up. Take us through that one. It's senior night and it's in Asotin and all that fun stuff, but kind of walk us through the game and what to expect from Northwest Christian.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's Saturday at 2, kind of a different time for our kids to play during the day, but we have 3 of our players gone at the state FFA convention the national FFA convention this week, so get them a chance to get back. 3 seniors, so gives them a chance to get back on Friday and then play on Saturday and be part of the seniors. Northwest Christian's tough, always tough. They're very well coached, always are. They compete well, so it's always been a battle. It has been for several years. So you hit it on the head. This game's for third and fourth. Both of us are going to be playing at home next week and in a crossover get to the playoffs. But this one's good for it's going to play heavily into the seeding for the state tournament should we both get there. So it's third and fourth, but definitely plenty of drama with it.
Yeah, so kind of walk us through the scenario, difference between third and fourth. Obviously, either way, you get to host a crossover game, which is nice, for the fans and for the players that get to play one more game, especially the seniors there on their home field. But maybe opponents and what that could look like, depending on what CGR.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry. Whoever wins the Northwest Christian Asotin game will be third, and we'll host Lind-Ritzville next week in week 10, and the loser of the Northwest Christian Asotin game will host Reardon next Friday as well. And so both those games will be winner to state, loser out games.
Gotcha. And as some of us know, you are part of the Washington State seating committee for the 2Bs. Can you just give us kind of a quick rundown on after week 10 and everything's decided, kind of what that process is for some of us that may be interested and aren't really sure?
Yeah, we the seating committee starting with week 6 has a shared document where we rank the teams. Just to kind of get for transparency more than anything, to kind of keep each other on the honest, I guess, to see what everybody's thinking, and that way there's no surprises. But next Sunday, the 9th, I guess it is, after all the teams have qualified for the state tournament, it'll get us 16 teams that have qualified, and then we'll sit down and individually rank those teams 1 through 16, and then come up with a composite list of seeds, and then we have the freedom, I guess, to move teams around a little bit, which really for us just tries to avoid league matchups in the first round is really all you can do. So, I know some states do pure rankings, max preps like Idaho, and we take into account several ranking systems, but ultimately have that human factor too, where we can kind of use sense to avoid stuff like Lewiston playing Lakeland 3.5 times in a week. So I think that's unfortunate for those schools. But we don't move teams a lot, but if you can move a team a seed or two, um, in order to avoid those first round matchups, it's good. We really try to keep the integrity of the. Ultimately, we're trying to get the top four right, and then the integrity of the top eight, because those teams host. So we don't mess with those too much. But if a lower seed can be moved a little bit to avoid a league matchup, that's what we'll do.
Gotcha. And I know 1 through 8 hosts, and obviously 1 through 4 is a crucial thing because you get to host the next round of that as well. But when the state of Washington says host, kind of what are the qualifications for that? I know it doesn't necessarily mean that you get to be at your home site. What exactly does host mean in the state's eyes?
It's a good question. There's a list of requirements that a host team has to have, and I don't know, just based on past experiences, I don't think the first round is super strict on that. But after that, teams aren't supposed to play at their home site. They're supposed to play at a neutral site, which last year when we were the number 2 seed, that neutral site was Clarkston, so still have an advantage there. But it's really something that the Washington State Coaches Association, that I'm on the executive board, we're really trying to streamline that a little bit, to be able to play those second round and for sure semifinal games. First of all, they have to be on second. The semifinal games have to be on turf. So that's why we had to go to the Tri-Cities. But they're trying to get the association is trying to get some more rules put in place, play clocks, kind of to keep those things. What's what I'm looking for, to keep them consistent throughout the state.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that there's been a lot of question marks behind that. So thanks for answering that. And when it comes back to the seating committee and kind of how that all works, it's obviously different from state to state. But Matt Evans of Evans Rankings does such a good job of compiling many different metrics in the way that he does his rankings. And I know that he's came up with a new one. That ranking compilation that he's been doing.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed that one. I think that could be a really interesting and dynamic tool for such committees like Washington State has on. I think it pulls 4 different rankings, computer rankings, and then 3 different human rankings, and compiles kind of a 1 through 10 ranking from there. And I'm sure it could go down as far as you needed it to. But I think that's a really, really good different tool to use that other states could maybe hopefully adopt at some point, because I think that's a really good way of doing it and really equitable for all teams involved. And then like you said, being able to adjust maybe a seed or two for certain teams not playing each other multiple times. But I think that's a really good way, and I hope people can kind of jump on board with that, because I think it is the most intriguing way of doing it when you have that many different rankings involved. So Matt Evans for that, and I think he's doing a great job. I think
good job. I follow him, and actually coming as we get to seeding, talk to Matt a little bit about some, if there's teams that I haven't seen or whatever, he's a good resource for sure. I have a little bit of trouble with human rankings. I think the computer rankings they remove a lot of bias.
Sure.
This year, the Washington State Football Coach Association is putting out the weekly rankings, and I think that's good, because coaches are doing that amongst the state.
Yeah.
For the 2B polls, it's the 2B coaches that are part of the association have the option to rank those. So I think those have a little bit of merit, for sure. But
yeah,
like I said, I like certain computer ones. We in Washington we have the RPI, and it's no secret that's not great. My biggest complaint about that is just that for teams in Eastern Washington, it doesn't give you any credit at all for playing an Idaho team or an
Right.
Oregon team, and I think that's a tragic thing. But I know Matt Evans takes that into account a little bit. So I think the composite way, like you said, I think is great.
Yeah, and it seems to be, like you said, takes out a lot of the biases where you're using so many different rankings that kind of compile something. So good on him, and I applaud him, and I can't be an easy task. So
Well, and he does it just because he wants to. And
yeah,
I don't know that he makes much, if any, money doing it. So it's just a hobby of his turned into a really valuable thing for sure.
yeah, very valuable, and I can't wait to see kind of how those rankings match up, and the state tournament's coming. So good for him. Coach, anything for the good of the order, or anything for Panther fans before we let you go this week?
No, looking forward to a Saturday game, and senior night's always a good night to honor those seniors that have put in so much time, and for us this year, it's been such a part of our success.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and we'll check in with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. See you later. All right. Beyond the Scoreboard fans, we just spoke with Jim Holman, our first guest this week, talking about his game as he takes on Northwest Christian. Like we talked about, it's at 2 p.m. this Saturday, a little bit different kickoff time, and obviously a different day than normal. But what I can't wait for is being able to check in on Lewiston and their first playoff game. Looks like they had just won that Kansas City tiebreaker, and we're going to welcome Zane Hobart in now and check in on that. What's up, Zane? How you doing, my man?
Hey, doing good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. So we just spoke with Coach Holman, and now we're going to check in on how Lewiston's doing this week leading up to their playoff game. I think the first thing to kind of do with you, Zane, is touch on how that kind of thrilling and exciting Kansas City tiebreaker win on Monday. Want to kind of walk through that and give us a little rundown?
Yeah, so like you said, super wild. I'd never been a part of one of those before. Um, Pretty fast, pretty furious. But yeah, three-way tiebreaker. Basically a double elimination round robin style format, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So we let off with Sandpoint and got that win. Lakeland had predetermined, being the number one seed, that they wanted to take the first round bye. Then they also had to choose who they were going to play between the winner of us and Sandpoint without knowing who was going to win that game. So we played Lakeland second and also got that win as well. So then we were out and got to watch, the next loser of the next game would have been out. Lakeland got that win. So then it was just down to us and Lakeland. They had to beat us twice. They did beat us the first time. And then that final game, if you will, we did win that to win the district title.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations to you. I know it's been a little while, so good on you for that. I got a few more questions on it. Obviously, as a sports fan, I think it's kind of crazy that happened, but I think it was probably super fun for the fans involved. I'm not sure for the coaches, maybe, but the fans, I'm sure it was, super exciting and thrilling and all that stuff. But so what was it, a true Kansas City tiebreaker where each person got an even amount of possessions, or was it kind of a cap at a certain point?
Yeah, even amount of possessions. You always have the opportunity to match the other team at that point. First possession was 25-yard line in. You had one timeout per possession per game. After the first score, the ball moved to the 10-yard line, and then you had to go for two.
Oh, okay.
We did get down to that point where we had to go from the 10-yard line in a couple of those games and go for that extra point. So yeah, I just not a lot of time to prepare for those games, and
Right.
on a Monday when you'd usually be preparing for that next opponent, just kind of a different week for sure. It does, it kind of takes away from like I just said, the fact that normally on that Saturday and Sunday, you're preparing for that next opponent. We're all going into the playoffs, all three programs. That was probably the tough part is losing those days that you would have had to prepare for the next opponent.
Right. So going into it, did you have a decent idea that, or I guess my first question is, did all three teams know they were in the playoffs before that started?
Yeah, all three teams knew via the Max Preps rankings that we were going to be in. It just was league champion obviously gets to host that first round game. So I mean, there was a lot all teams were playing for.
Sure. Gotcha. Well, and no time or anything, right? Just downs.
Yep, just downs. No time on the clock, nothing like that.
Cool. I mean, I'm not sure you want to do that ever again, but I'm sure that was a super fun experience and something the kids are going to remember for a long time. All right, talk us through. Congratulations again getting into the state tournament. There at your first season, Lewiston head coach, and talk us through the opponent. I know you're unbelievably well known about each other. I mean, what was it, third time in 7 days or whatever?
Third time in 7 days. Craziness.
It is crazy, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to talk about it, but I cannot believe that that's happening. But that's probably fallen on deaf ears by now. But I think we need to start reaching out to whoever is involved in that Idaho ranking system, and using Max Preps is like something from like 2014. So I think we can probably update that a little bit. There's so many rankings involved in compilations and human factors and blah. Anyway, walk us through Lakeland. What are you expecting? Obviously, the home getting to host is awesome, but what Bengal fans might not know, give us a little bit of a detail on Lakeland and what to expect without going too far.
Yeah, I mean, with Lakeland, the first thing that comes to mind is you get a physical brand of football. I mean, that's what they're known for, and that's what they hang their hat on. Is just playing super physical on both sides. On the defensive side, they like to bring a lot of pressure from a lot of different angles. It can be difficult at times, but just a really physical, old school brand of football. Just kind of that wear you down type of team.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, and if I remember right, they got a couple pretty good players that impact both sides of the ball. Is that true?
Yeah, they do. They really mix up their personnel packages, and you see just a kind of revolving door with different personnel packages they use, especially on the offensive side. And you see a lot of guys playing both ways for sure.
Yeah, good. Well, Zane, I know you got a lot to do, and it's a little later than we normally talk about. But anything go to the order that you want to talk about, let people know leading up to the game on Friday.
Yeah, I mean this is a big one, obviously to host it at home and to put us in that position where we are able to host. First game at the new P1FCU Sports Complex, so that's going to be awesome. Just encourage people to come out. I know it's Halloween night. Get that trick or treating done early, and we could use your support. It's going to be a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it's not going to be, and I know that the Valley will come out and support. Seems like they do a really good job in that kind of stuff. But I wish you the best of luck, man, and can't wait to see follow Friday night a little bit and try and catch the game as well. And I haven't got the game there yet, so super excited to see that. So good luck to you, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right, Beyond the Scoreboard fans, wraps up our time with their head coach, Zane Hobart of the Lewiston Bengals, as he takes on Lakeland for the opening round of the Idaho State 5A tournament, and we wish him the best of luck. Once again, that game is going to be played at Lewiston High School, beginning at 7 p.m. on Halloween night. So if you're free and not doing much Halloween-wise, jump over there and go cheer on the Bengals. We have one more game to get to today before we let you go. That's going to be Clarkston, that is playing at North Central this week, beginning at 5 p.m. Last week, Clarkston had a battle with Pullman, but ended up falling in that one 28-13. So we're wishing Clarkston Bantams all the luck in the world against North Central here on Friday. Once again, that game is a little bit different start time as well. That's at 5 p.m. So good luck to the Bantams as we cheer on them as they head up to North Central. Again, we'd like to thank our major sponsor for the night and for this show throughout the year. We have a couple more weeks here with the area teams, but we'd like to thank All Valley Mini Storage. You can see them at www.lcvstorage.com. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again next week. See you, Beyond the Scoreboard fans.